I'm glad you're all here. My name is Tom Schultz. We're part of the City Watch program, which is developed by Compassion in Action, an organization that my wife and I founded and direct. We felt the need to respond to basically the epidemic of drug and heroin use in Marshfield. Felt that there was something that we needed to do. As you know, there is prevention as well as recovery. And City Watch is leaning towards the prevention side. And we're going to talk some more about that. Before I do that, as we were worshiping, I just felt some things drop in my heart to know that I started walking with Jesus when I was 1973. And I've seen a lot of comings and goings and a lot of change in life and the culture. And I'm here to tell you that in the highs and the lows and the easy times and the hard times, there's one thing that I have found that is irreversible and undeniable in my life. And that is that Jesus Christ is absolutely the answer to whatever you are in. There's been times in my life when I've doubted, you know, if we probably would all lie if we didn't admit that. But I can say He has always been faithful. As we visit prisons and talk to troubled people here and there and go on disaster relief, I find there's a message that rings true for every human heart. And that is that you are precious in His sight. You are His prince and His princess. When a person is able to get that in their heart, the strength that comes from knowing you're important to the God that made you, there's nothing more powerful than that. And as you draw near to Him, and you actually develop a relationship with Him, there's nothing that can stop you. Amen? About Marshfield, July 7th, the News Herald published a survey that I think was kind of astounding to everybody. 6% of Marshfield's high school students use prescription drugs that were not prescribed to them. That's called drug abuse, and it's illegal. 2% of those students admitted using heroin within that last month. Every one of the students that used that heroin or used those prescription drugs could have overdosed. Last year, the Marshfield Police Department seized over 2 times more heroin than 14 other surrounding agencies combined. Judge Cruz from Marshfield said, heroin use is going to escalate exponentially unless we do something immediately. Our former Wisconsin Attorney General said, we have a significant problem with heroin. It's the largest burgeoning issue facing our state law enforcement. June of this year, the executive director of the Marshfield Clinic, based here in Marshfield, said, we have a significant heroin problem. He said he talked to a school psychologist who said every Monday during the school year, students show up on Monday morning needing treatment for heroin withdrawal. Every Monday. If you were to talk to young people and you say, do we have a drug problem? Do we have drugs in Marshfield? They'll say, absolutely. They'll say, I know where I can go right now and get some. They'll say it in the high school. Now, as we talk to older people, many of them are in denial. That's our job, is to try to wake our community up and to say, we have a problem, and you can make a difference. And I ask that you, as you hear my message here, can help on the prevention side by communicating the same message. Wood County has had more heroin cases analyzed than 80% of other Wisconsin counties. Little Wood County, little rural Wood County, has become a pivotal point for heroin use in Wisconsin. The Department of Health Services said, this is truly a public health crisis. Overdoses of opioid painkillers such as oxycodone, hydrocodone, methadone accounted for 45% of the deaths from overdose. 843 overdose deaths in 2013. And it's grown from there. That's in the state of Wisconsin. Recently, in the Marshall News Herald, which I read every day, a 50-some-year-old couple was found dead with heroin at the scene. In Milwaukee County alone, 120 people died from heroin. Because of the additives in street heroin, it's impossible to know its strength or its purity. 1/10 gram dose or overdose, the difference is imperceptible. You do not know. You do not know what an overdose could be. Last year, 4,400 doses of Narcan were given in the state of Wisconsin for overdoses. That's just from EMS personnel. That's not counting emergency rooms. That's not counting friends and users. That's not counting a ton of other Narcan being given. 4,400. If something happened in our state that caused the death of 800 and some young people, there would be absolute outrage. The federal government would be here. State government would be energized. You would see all kinds of hell breaking loose to try to correct the problem. And yet, for some reason, our community sleeps as this crisis is overrunning us. It gets personal. One use, and a user can be hooked. It's not something that you want to sample with or try. As I talked to the gentleman back here, who's had a long history of understanding these things, he says, it will get you. One use. Young lady called Allison says, from the day I started using, I never stopped. Within 1 week, I'd gone from snorting to shooting. Within a month, I was addicted, going through all my money. I sold everything that I had. Within a year, I lost everything. I sold my car, lost my job, was kicked out of my house, was $25,000 in credit card debt, living on the street. I lied, I stole, I cheated. I was raped, I was beaten, I was mugged, robbed, arrested, homeless, sick, and desperate. That's what your friend heroin will do. Heroin shuts down the brainstem, the part of your brain that tells you to breathe, that tells you when you need oxygen to your brain. The threat of addiction is not the worst consequence of experimenting with heroin. Jim was 21 years old, usually spent his evenings drinking beer with friends. He had already experimented with heroin, so when friends offered him a line to sniff, he accepted. 15 minutes after inhaling, he passed out, dropped into a deep coma. He lasted more than 2 months. Now he's confined to a wheelchair, unable to write, barely able to read. Whatever dreams and aspirations that he once had are gone. Whether it's prescription painkillers or heroin, when you use, you don't put enough oxygen to your brain, you're losing brain cells, you're literally suffocating yourself to death. So why am I here and why am I telling you this? Because God is calling His people to rise up. Amen. As a part of Compassion in Action, serving in disaster relief, I can tell you that time after time, those that struck with disaster have told me with tears running down their face, I'm so glad that the church is here. I don't know where we would be without them. When you see the church energized, when you see them put on their walking shoes, get outside the walls of the church and get busy, good things happen. I've been to Joplin, Missouri, where the entire city was flooded with church groups that literally turned that town upside down in restoring it. It was unbelievable. And it all flowed together like it was controlled by an unseen hand, which we all know that it was. Amen. And God was glorified because of it. The same thing can happen with the drug problem in our city. The church, with God's wisdom, God's grace, can rise up and conquer this nasty, ugly demon.
Amen.
So, City Watch is about watching. First of all, watch yourself. Guard, and this is my message Everyone in here probably knows this, but you probably know someone that doesn't. Guard your prescription narcotics with your life. The life that you save could be someone very dear and near to you. 80% of heroin users started with prescription drugs. We've got to destroy prescription narcotics. Could be your grandma and grandpa. Honestly, that's probably the most naive people that we talk to. Many of them have prescription drugs. They've had pain or are living with pain. But they don't understand, many people don't understand how dangerous these drugs are, or that people are dying from them, or that the friend of their grandchild knows exactly where to come in their house if he's visiting and find that prescription narcotic. They're good at it. And you'll never know they were there because they know better than take the whole bottle. That's the message we've got to talk to people about. We've got to put away, destroy, or lock up narcotic painkillers. We've got to. If we did that alone, we would conquer a huge part of this problem. So watch yourself. If you need prescription painkillers, and especially if you're younger, you are very vulnerable to addiction to those painkillers, especially if you have to use them long term. If you think you're approaching anything close to addiction, or if you're experiencing any even slight withdrawal symptoms, get help and get it fast. I cannot overemphasize that enough. If you experience withdrawal symptoms such as tearing, running, stuffy nose, yawning, sweating, chills, muscle pain, nausea, vomiting, cramps, diarrhea, anxiety, cravings, trouble sleeping, your body is having a hard time withdrawing from opioids. If you are experiencing mood swings, depression, anger, irritability, marital or relationship problems, social isolation, loss of friendships, poor performance at school or work, borrowing or owing money, arrests for driving under the influence or stealing, you are probably an addict. Second, watch your family. Be tuned in to your children, your brothers, your sisters. Addiction to opioids is no respecter of persons. You could be making $500,000 a year or $500 a year. You can be a star pupil, a star athlete, or you can be someone that has been a reject or having problems and beat up all your life. From A to Z, this is a problem. So nobody can say, well, that's not going to happen to me. If you see anyone in your circle of relationships or people that you know that you are in tune to, and you see these problems, don't be quiet. Don't not say anything because you don't want to offend. Just offend.
Right.
Honestly, when you're facing a crisis of this magnitude, does it matter if someone is offended?
No.
You may actually save a life.
Yeah, that's right.
You're in a home and someone you know, and you're seeing these things that speak of withdrawal or trouble, sit down with them people and say, ma'am, sir, you may have a problem in your house. I apologize if I'm wrong, but listen to me for a minute. Watch your city. Watch your neighborhood. Nobody knows your house next door like you do, or the house across the street. If we find 1,000 people in Marshfield that are in tune, know what to watch for, and they're watching their neighborhood, we now have 4,000 to 5,000 people with their eyes open, and it grows exponentially. There's a card on your table, a little business card in front of you. On the back of that card are signs of drug deals going down. And it's by no means complete. And just talking to this gentleman back here, there's probably 1,000 things we could add to it. But educate yourself on drugs being sold. And try to stop them. Call law enforcement. Text law enforcement anonymously. Say, hey, this looks suspicious. Watch your city. That same 1,000 people goes to work every day, or goes to the grocery store, or goes to the theater, and they're watching. They're all watching. We've now multiplied the efforts of law enforcement to stop this poison from being sold in our city. Watch your churches and your schools. Make sure that young people, starting very young, are taught about the dangers of drugs, about painkillers, about heroin, about anybody approaching them with anything. Put the fear of God in them. I think as City Watch grows, we'll get to a point where the people that would like to sell this stuff in our city will say, no, not me. It's too difficult there. I believe that can be done if enough people get involved. There's a clipboard on your table as well. And if you have not given us your email address and would like to, City Watch, that's for the City Watch email list. And it's marshfieldcitywatch@gmail.com if you want to contact us about anything.
Well, I'm Jessica, and I'm a heroin addict, recovering heroin addict, and I'll have 8 months clean on September 25th. My addiction started probably when I was in high school with drinking and experimenting with drugs, but when I was about 23 years old, I had a baby. I had a daughter, her name was Ava, and I was diagnosed with diverticulitis, which is like an infection in your intestines, but it's all these pockets and they flare up. So the doctors started putting me on Percocets, Oxycontin, Vicodin. And when I got put on those, they didn't make me tired like normal people. They made me uppity, they made me talk, I want to do my dishes, and I was super mom, I felt great. But I wasn't super mom anymore when I didn't have those pain pills. So that's how my addiction started to outroll with 2 Vicodin. At the end, I could take easily up to 30, 40 pain pills a day. Yeah, and that kind of led to my addiction to heroin. I didn't know what heroin looked like when people were talking about it. I didn't understand it, and just tried to build an itty-bitty mind. And that was it. When I started using heroin, I do half of it a day. At the end of my addiction, I was doing 2 to 3 grams of heroin. And I started selling heroin to feed my addiction. But it got to the point where I didn't want to sell none of my heroin, I wanted to do it all. So that was pretty awful. Before I talk about how I met in Indiana, during this time, I probably spent a total of 3 years combined being in jail. I lost my kids. I got my rights were. I voluntarily signed over my rights because I couldn't take care of my kids. I lost my family. I didn't have. I didn't have anybody when I went to jail. I had nobody. The only person I had was my best friend, Tim, who is my fiance now. But that was the only person that was there for me when I had nobody. And he was just my friend. I mean, he was the last person I would have ever expected to get a letter from. But he gave me the love that I needed, that I didn't get anywhere else. So one day, me and him, he was prescribed Oxycontin, and we were really bad into pills. We had moved up here, we were homeless, we were going from house to house to house. We didn't ever have no money, so I don't understand how we even paid for drugs until we started selling them. So I was homeless, and one day I picked up my phone and I had a text message come in from a friend that goes to CROSSroads. And she invited me here to pay fellowship. And I came to church, and I met them in Indiana, and I didn't know them. They asked if they could come and pray for me. And I just cried, and I cried because I was so broken. And these people who didn't even know me were showing me so much love. So during this time, I would message men on Facebook. There was nowhere really for me to go. They had shut down the fourth floor. I couldn't go to rehab. Ellie Phillips in my head was just not an option. And so for months, I was messaging Anna, but there was really nowhere for me to go. So about 4 months later, they invited me into their home to detox. And that was December 20th. And see, a lot of you people that showed up and people I didn't even know were coming to their house. Becky even let me smoke in her car. They had to take me up to the hospital, and that's really the first time I met Becky, and none of these people knew me, and they were ready to help me. They took me up to the hospital just to get everything checked out, but I didn't make it that time. And I had left their home, I went and used, and a month later, I said, this is it. Me and my fiance, Tim, we were starting to detox. We were so bad that we couldn't even sit up straight. We would sit for 2 seconds in one position. So we were in no position to go down to Chicago. So I said, this is it. I'm going to treatment. I'm going to Ellie Phillips. And he's trying to pack my bags. He's sick. He's got 4 pairs of socks and a bra and a bag. And we're like, here you go. So then when our friend showed up to take me, and she's like, no, he's got to go too. And we were lucky they got us in together.
Amen.
And they worked our recovery together. But if I would have had, if there would have been a home up here, a restoration home for me to go to, instead of having 8 months clean, I probably had 14 months clean. But there was nowhere for me. And I started working with CROSSroads. I'm a very active member. I've worked with other addicts in this community. And I'm very passionate in trying to help and pray that we get a home so we have somewhere to put people. Already this week alone, I mean, we could have had 3 women. And as far as I know, just 1 guy, and they go to Ellie Phillips and they detox, and that's it. Your insurance does not cover residential treatment. So then it's like, where do we put these people? There is nothing up here. And so that is what I'm passionate about now, is working with our people in this community, because they are, and these people are brothers and sisters, moms, husbands, children, and this is killing our community. Heroin and prescription drugs, methamphetamine, they're taking our families away from us. A year ago, you would never have heard me say that I would back up the police with wanting this stuff out of my community, but I do, because it's killing people.
Amen.
And it can happen to anybody. Everybody thinks that it's not going to happen to them. Oh, well, I got my heroin under control. Yeah, me too. Sure did. So, I can't help but just wonder how much further I would have got with a more structured setting for me to go into. Because I have my peaks and valleys, where I got really depressed, because when you first get sober, Nothing seems fun. Nothing. And then people used to tell me it's gonna get better, it's gonna screw you. Like, I don't want to. But once it got better, I got it. Like, this has gotten better. And guys, I was homeless this time last year. I was staying with a friend with me. I have a 3-bedroom beautiful home now. I have a vehicle that works. And God has given me a second chance to be a parent.
Amen.
And I can't be more thankful for that. That I get this second chance, because when I first got found out I was pregnant, I didn't feel like I deserved it. Because of what I put my other kids through. And kids remember stuff. Okay, they don't forget. But I did what was best for them, because I couldn't do it at that time. And thank the good Lord that there were people that loved my kids enough, who didn't know them, that adopted my kids. But if you think that doing heroin is fun and partying is fun, yeah, it is. But this is the end result of your partying is going to be nothing, nobody, because eventually people are going to leave you. They're not going to want to stick around, and they can't, because that's enabling you. We are where we're at because of the choices we make.
Amen.
And because of the choices I make now, I have a home, I have a child, I have a fiance, I'm a great man, and I'm just so blessed now. I don't really have anything to complain about. And I really am. I have amazing support system through CROSSroads, and Ben, and Deanna, and Melissa, and Sarah, and Tammy, and Becky, and even Chris, Ashley. There's so many people, that go there that I read yesterday in the Daily Bread. It's called Your 2 a.m. Friends. And I have 2 a.m. friends that I can call at 2, 3, 4 in the morning who want nothing from me, but will come pick me up. Ben has picked me up at 3 o'clock in the morning. So I'm having a bad day, almost relapsing, and pick me up. Nothing. He wanted nothing from me but to take me back so I could talk to Deanna. They have been if I didn't have them, I don't know where I would be right now.
Amen.
Because I used to be like, I couldn't talk to people about things, but they're recovering addicts. What I say to them is not going to shock them.
Amen.
If I fail, they're not going to love me less. They're going to love me more, and they're going to make sure I get right.
Yes.
And would do anything for me, and they don't want nothing in return.
Yes.
And that's, like, I got real friends for the first time in about 15 years that don't want anything from me, but to share in common that we love the Lord and that we want to help these addicts in the community. And that's what I strive to do. If I'm helping you, you're helping me because I'm helping you get somewhere.
Wow. The person you're looking at. O Zion, there's a cry in the land. We are in a generation right now where we no longer look at the family. We look at substance. You know, as I was growing up in time, your family was everything.
Yes.
But now we in this generation have stepped away from that. And see, it is the family that helps the generation. What I mean by that is that we have to come together as a family to intercept this problem. We can't do it over here and one over here, but we got to come together. We have to lock arms.
Amen.
Say, you know what? We're not going to take this. We're not going to accept this.
Yes.
We know the statistics. But we got to say we're not going to accept this.
Right.
We're not going to allow our children to be succumbed.
Amen.
We're not going to allow them to be consumed. Because it is such an enjoyable thing to them at this point. Everybody's doing it.
Yes.
I mean, we don't talk about that. Everybody's doing it. Hey, this is the thing to do. Somebody's telling their child that.
Yeah.
Someone's telling our child that, hey, this is something to do. It's fun. But they're not talking about what happens when it's all over with.
Yes.
When the fun part leaves.
Yes.
When you get to the point where you're stealing. You get to the point where you just don't care anymore. You get to the point where you're homeless. See, we need to bring that to light.
Yes.
You know, because we see that it is brought up in such a glorious fashion. This is fashionable. I mean, yeah, I'm just being real today. We gotta understand that. It's brought to light like that. But we have to bring it to what happens when everything is over and the laughter is gone.
Yeah.
Yes.
And there's nothing left. We have to bring that. So there is a cry in the land Zion. Right here is Zion. This is Zion right here. And it's a cry in the land. For 20 years I smoked crack cocaine. I was what you call a functioning drug addict. I wasn't homeless. I didn't steal from anybody. I thought it was okay. I thought it was fine. I ain't doing what they doing. You know what I mean? We don't do it. She sold her child for some dough. That's crazy. Yet still I'm up there with a pipe in my hand.
Yeah.
That's okay. But one day, just one day, I was talking to this guy. I got the check. I was a registered nurse. $4,000 a month. Had a house, had all that, the car, had all that in the driveway. When I came home one day, I was smoking. I was by myself, 3-bedroom home, beautiful home. Nobody was in the house with me. I took a hit. I said, shh. How many know that was the wake-up call for me? Something's wrong with this picture. Something's wrong with this picture. This is not right. And then I had to tell myself, that's wrong with this picture, something wrong with you. For you allowing yourself to come to this level. And then I had to say, it ain't me, it's the enemy. Because I have something, an anointing. Something, she said, that really stuck with me. That the enemy knows. That each and every young person that's out there is getting high. They got something to offer.
Yes.
And so he's trying to take it away. He don't want them to speak out. That's an army. So the enemy said the best way to do it is, let's get them this way. Let's wipe out a whole generation. A whole generation. Let's wipe them out. Then I ain't got to worry about the souls, because I got them. Because that's what he wants, the souls. So we're looking at we look at the realistic part of what's going on, but then there's the Christian part. There's a fight that we can't see.
That's right.
There's a fight that we don't understand. But the Bible says the battle is not yours. It is the Lord's.
Amen.
So we have to not only look at the recovery homes and what they can do, but it also we can bring the spirituality back into the situation.
Amen.
Because that's what the enemy did. He took, you know, because see, the flesh, believe it or not, you know, our people said, when you get high, I've heard them say, oh, I didn't like getting high. I like getting high when I got high. I ain't gonna lie to you, I'm real about it. I like getting high. Yes. Come on, I mean, you know, you go to some of these meetings, oh, when and I was so upset, and I didn't like getting high. I did. Because I would do it, I didn't like it. is not good.
Amen.
It does. I was telling somebody this morning, the devil ain't gonna offer you strawberry if he know you like chocolate. He gonna offer you what you like.
That's right.
But we have to bring it to light. And that's how we bring the light to recovery home. That God is the answer.
Amen.
Get addicted to reading your word.
Yeah. Hallelujah.
Get addicted to loving somebody. Loving somebody. Because it's all about love. It's all about love. See, we as people sitting here today, we have to take courage. It's going to take courage to do this. This is not an easy thing. Trust me. Trust me. Like I was saying with talking with Sister LaWanna back there, everybody is not made to do this.
Amen.
I'm trusting. Everybody is not made to do this type of work. No, that's why I don't put no other ministry down, because they're not doing it, because they're not made to do it. Everybody's not called to do that.
Amen.
That's why you got somebody like Ben, Indiana, they came here trying to get away from the ministry. From this type of ministry. They weren't trying to get away from church, but from this type of ministry. But when you're called to this ministry, you cannot get away from it. And yes, I don't put nobody down. Because everybody's not called. Everybody's not ready to get up at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. And there's nothing wrong with it. But when you got somebody that's called to do it, then what you do is you back up. That's what you do.
Yes.
I can't do it, but if you can do it, I'll do whatever my resources to help you do it.
Right.
That's what this is all about.
Amen. Yes.
Pulling the resources together. Not wanting to take a name or making a name for yourself, but I just want to help somebody.
Yes.
That's what it's all about. Just
Amen.
helping somebody.
Yes.
Helping somebody come out of the trenches.
Amen.
Helping somebody come out of the wilderness. Because trust me, they're in the wilderness.
Yes.
But they're crying out.
Yes.
There's a longing somewhere deep down inside. So that's what I just want to say to you today. Even if you don't do the ministry yourself, support Crossroads.
Yes.
Come together as a community and say, we're going to stop this. What we're going to do, I may not can't get out there and walk the streets and talk to them, because it may not be where I'm supposed to be in ministry. But what I can do is support them.
Yes.
And I can tell somebody else about it. I can talk to my political leaders about them. That they're out here trying to help. Can you help? I can talk to my city. We got a house that needs to be, that's sitting there, that's open. Can you help? Can you give that house to Crossroads?
Yeah.
Amen. See, and not only that, you're the voters. You all make a difference. You can make a difference.
Yes.
So when you leave here today, think about that. How can I help support Crossroads? How can I help them help other people get my children off the streets? Amen?
Amen.
God bless you.
As we listen to the testimony today, Crossroads is not a faith fellowship or one church or me and Indiana ministry. It's a community ministry. It's a community of churches. It's a community of the government, the police department, the fire department, the hospitals. And if you can't get up at 3 o'clock in the morning, pray for us.
Yes.
I mean,
Amen.
anything, just pray.
Amen.
If there's God puts on your heart to help some other way, we will not turn it down. I can attest, we need help. But you know what? I know we're making a difference.
Yes.
You know why I know we're making a difference? All you sitting out here right now.
Amen.
What is the most immediate need for recovery restoration? What is the first thing we need? What
Other
do we
than
need to be talking about in our community?
Well, for community itself,
Yeah. Or no, what is Crossroads recovery restoration?
what our restoration home needs right now is help in we're in the process of 501c3. We have a lawyer that is willing to come alongside us. Outside of that, we need funding. We need funding for taking people to LE Phillips. We need funding to hold benefits like this, or breakfasts like this, to get the knowledge out there. We need people. I've always, in Victory Church, is something that Pastor Andrew has always said. Your ministry runs on M&Ms. M&Ms is men and money.
Yeah.
Yes.
We need men and money. If you don't have the men, you can't run it. If you don't have the money, you can't run it. That's just the way of this world.
Yes.
So it's not like, we're begging for money. That's a reality.
Yes.
And we need a home. We need people to staff the home.
Yes.
We need people to learn, to disciple. We need recovering addicts to help out. We need people that want to step out of their wilderness, Jessica, Melissa, to come out and help Deanna run this woman's home. That's what we need. We need people to step up. We need people that step out, and we need people that just want to love others.
Amen.
Scott?
I got a question. I just want to know, is there any information? I think a big problem is the youth, people in school systems. And when I first started using it, I was in high school. And what resources are there for them? Meetings, welcome at Celebrate Recovery, crossing, to get them the knowledge, okay, I got a problem, I have somewhere to go with the problem.
It starts with the parents. It starts with the parents identifying the problem with the children. It's communication with one another. And it's also not tying the hands of the people that want to help. I work with people that they see the problem in school. They see what needs to be done, but they're only limited because of politics, because of laws, and it's heartbreaking. But God willing, and by God's grace, it's not that we water our way around it. He presents a solution for that. And the person that would really be able to address that would be Becky Lee.
Hi, Becky. My name is Becky Lee. I'm the school psychologist at the high school. About 5 years ago, the funding for alcohol and drug programs pretty much went away. What they did was there was more of an emphasis on mental health, and so those monies went into the mental health field. As far as I'm concerned, mental health and drug addiction are pretty much the same thing. But because of that, our local school district lost that position, lost that money. We had a half-time person. So for the last 3 years, or the last 5 years, it was pretty much just if you were an athlete and you got caught, then you were referred to the alcohol and drug program, which was really just a brief screening and intervention. The question was, well, how come just the athletes have access to that kind of help? Well, that's changed. In July, our local school board approved an activities handbook. So now anybody who's involved in any kind of extracurricular activities, FFA, band, whatever, you name it. If they get caught with a substance abuse violation, they now get referred to that screening, that intervention, and that then possible referral to treatment. After 5 years of asking questions with a lot of wonderful people in the school district who did care and wanted to know what was going on, the person who had that position resigned, and then they offered it to me. And so starting a year ago, I said, well, this is great, but we have one licensed counselor in town. We have the county supports, we have drug court. That's all great, but I can't do prevention. We have a problem going on. We need intervention. We need it now. I would always talk all year about how my heroin prevention program for the high school was to help the older brothers and sisters get off the stuff, so that the younger kids in the high school weren't seeing it, weren't around it, didn't have access to it, you name it. So that was our prevention program as we were in crisis mode. This year, the school district is looking at all of that much more closely. So we are going to be, hopefully, being able to offer more services in the building. We had Rise Together come to the high school last year. That's a story of recovery. There are young people in recovery from heroin. Lori CROSSroads started the Wisconsin CAN group. CAN stands for Changing Addiction Now. And what it is ending the stigma, ending the shame. If my child has an addiction problem, I don't have to run and hide. There are other people that I can talk to about it.
Amen.
And that's the biggest piece that we wanted to make sure. When we had our first meeting last fall, I listened to a mom say, for 3 years, my child's friends' parents, all they were talking about is where they were going to college, where they were going to college, where they were going to college. And what I had to offer in the conversation was what was the latest rehab facility that my son came out of. And what she said to us is, for 3 years, I thought I was the only one in town that was going through this. And now I know I'm not the only one in town going through this, and we have the support of each other. That's what the CAN group is trying to do. I did a Google search last August and found Bend, Indiana. I know about Alcoholics Anonymous in town, I know about Narcotics Anonymous in town. There are people staying clean, there were people staying clean. I talk about whatever the kids want to talk about in my office. I've been working with at-risk kids for 30 years. This last year was the most emotional year by far ever. And it's not tears of sorrow and sadness and helplessness and hopelessness. It was tears of hope. That, wow, if that person can do it, maybe I can do it. You know, it was tears of, I remember a conversation with a young man whose mother was an alcoholic. And when I told him that Diana and I would meet his mom at the Daily Grind to talk about maybe trying to get her to an AA meeting, 17-year-old boy just broke down. And he said, my mom loves the Daily Grind. She won't come to school to meet with you, but she will meet you at the Daily Grind. And that's that kind of boots on the ground. That's the kind of soldiers that are being called. And you know what? It's not us. It's not me. It's not any of that. This God is moving all this stuff. Amen. God is moving all this stuff. Just the fact that some of the people who are in this room today, that is way beyond anything that one person can do as far as bringing people in to hear the message. So we're doing some things. We're doing hopefully more than we've been able to do in the last 5 years. And I just love everybody. We can do this together. We can do this together, guys. We can do this together.
Question for Ben. Ben, if you had a house, how close are you to being able to operate a home?
I could have that home operation within a month.
Yes, yes,
I got people, resources.
yes.
We would import from Milwaukee, Chicago. We even got local people here that, you know, that are in training also. Jessica, Melissa, even though they're new, they're coming up. They're under the discipleship of Deanna right now. And Deanna, I'm discipling her, so she'll be all right.
They have the support of the mayor, the police chief,
There you
the
go.
county board of directors, I mean, all of all of the support is there as far as those kinds of entities as well.
Amen.
So,
Other questions, other comments?
How do you encourage somebody who needs help to get help if they don't want it?
Well, honestly, okay, so the question is, how do you encourage someone who needs help but doesn't want help to seek it out? Yes.
Sometimes, really, as hard as it is, the best thing you can do is to force them to. Like, stop making it easy for them, let them get to a point where they have no other options. That's what it took for me to finally break down to the point where I'm like, you know what, maybe this God thing is real, it's probably not, but I'm so, that's my only option.
Amen.
You know, and it's like, I gotta stay in the home even though I wanna be out doing work because I have no other options left. And sometimes it's hard as family members to do that and watch people you love. But sometimes that's what it takes for them to want to get home.
I'd have to echo that point, and Charles is probably going to say the exact same thing, but I'll let him say it after me. It does take you to be blunt sometimes. It does take you to stand in their face and say, you've got a problem. And I'm not going to help you this time. I'm not going to bail you out.
You're going to have to figure it out and let God do it with you. I'll be there when you're ready for the help, but I'm not going to force you to have that help. But I'm not going to be an enabler anymore.
Yeah.
And the other thing that we have is that Chris, my wife back there, Chris, with the CROSSroads team, she and Ashley and a lot of other of us that never had that drug addiction, we're there for the families.
Amen.
Because the hardest thing for a lot of people to do is that you drop off your loved one to a meeting and you sit out in the car and go, please God, let it work this time. Al-Anon is there for you as well. And they have that great resource. You have to reach out to God. You have to reach out to other family members and know that there is support system for you as well, not just the addict.
Yeah.
Because when you start healing the home, when you start healing the family, you bring everything together, and then that support system comes. That support system that you have with, I'll be here when you're ready. You need to take that step. I'm right behind you to catch you. I'm right in front of you to lead. I'm right beside of you to put my arm around you. That's what the Family Support Center does. When you're an addict, you may tip, you may falter, or you may fall. But that support team is surrounding you for that reason to keep you strong. Charles?
You know, the Bible says the greatest love is love. Love. You gotta love them enough to share it. Enough. You gotta love them enough. What I'm saying is, you gotta really love them enough to say, you know, you gotta love them enough to hold your tears back and say, I'm done.
Yes.
I'm done. Because we as human beings, we tend to take on a guilt complex. We do that. It's something, it's a missed value we have. But we have to release that. And we have to love them enough to say, I'm not going to feel guilty. To love you enough. So that, because you have to say they're not loving themselves enough. So you're going to have to give them that. Because they're not loving themselves enough. So you're going to have to stare in the gap. And love them enough to let go.
Okay, the person you said needs help but doesn't want help. So how do you get them to that place? This is, okay, as humans, we have this this sort of tendency to rescue and to help. And think about all of what we learned about how to relate. If it wasn't from the word, it was from the earth. And then Jesus said, the God, lowercase g, of the earth is the devil. So that everything we learn from the earth, we need to be questioning. Everything. And so if that person isn't ready to get help, then all you can do is put it in God's hand and pray about it, because God will handle it. But to assume that we can impose unless they're under engaged or they're in our home, it can be an error. You know what I'm saying? Because they have to be ready to change in order to do so. They have to be sick and tired of being sick and tired. All you have to do is let it go. And let the person's life.